A new ban list can mean a shift in the meta, and it's important to adapt your side deck for that. But which cards make the cut, and which cards don't? Hey everyone, welcome back to Toasty TCG. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite side deck cards for the March 2021 format. But before we start with talking about the ones I'm going to put in, it's important to talk about the ones that we need to take out. So to start off, let's talk about things like Ghostbell and Haunted Mansion. With the fall of Virtual World and Drytron, I don't feel that this card is very necessary anymore. The only deck that's going to really be impactful against anymore is Eldritch, so you're losing two of the reasons that you play this card. So this is also going to include things like DD Crow and Skullmeister, as they serve the same function as the Ghostbell, so there's really no reason to keep any of those cards in your side deck. You can take those out. We have better options to play this format. Then next up, I feel like Drool Unlock can come out. Drool Unlock was really just played to stop Drytron, because if you didn't have the Drool Unlock, Drytron popped off so incredibly hard. But without Union Carrier and Ben 10-1, I'm not really worried about Drytron or Virtual World any longer. So we can take out the cards that are made to directly stop those decks. Now let's talk about the cards that do make the transition over from last format to this format. This is mostly just going to include our board wipe type of cards, such as Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, Evenly Matched, and our back row hate cards like Cosmic Cyclone and Dino Wrestler Pankertops. So these cards are all really good against Eldritch, and they're better than Bell, DD Crow, and Skullmeister. So before anyone's going down in the comments like, oh, you're just trying to protect your Eldritch deck, no, I promise you I'm not that biased. So the reason that you want to play all these cards is when you hit the Eldritch stuff, it can put them really far behind. Like if you do a Lightning Storm on Eldritch, you might be thinking, oh, in the end phase they're just going to banish, get more stuff. But if you Lightning Storm them, there's no field presence for them very early on in the game. Because typically, Eldritch is just trying to set some stuff and then play on your turn. So when you hit them with a Lightning Storm, now maybe they have Sanguine. So they go Sanguine, summon a Golden Lord, so they have a 2800 defense body on the board and nothing to back it up. So you're able to get through that. You might even be able to kill them if you're playing certain decks. But otherwise, you can just set up your board, and now their turn comes around. They might still have Golden Lord for whatever reason, but otherwise they just have whatever they have in hand, and they have maybe, if they're very lucky, they'll have a Sanguine and I'll have a Golden Land set. Now, with this being a back row deck, if you hit them with that Lightning Storm, that Duster, so that's going to set them all the way back. They're probably not going to have a lot of cards in the hand, because they probably committed a lot of back row on their first turn. So, they set, 3 cards at the very least, 5 cards at the most. You go Lightning Storm, you go Feather Duster, and the worst one for Eldritch is Evenly Matched. So that denies them even being able to get the graveyard effect. So they'll keep 1 card, and if they have a Sanguine set, they're going to chain it, so that way they have their Golden Lord on the board. And that means they're going to pretty much lose all their back row because they're going to want to protect the Golden Lord. So these are all cards that you're going to want to play. And then Cosmic Cyclone can hit the Golden Lands when they activate. It can hit Eldland, get rid of all those type of problem cards. But also, you can hit things such as the Subterra Field spell, Hidden City. That's going to be another deck I think is a big problem in this format, is Dragoon Subterrors. Just because it's another one of those decks where it's able to play without really caring about the drawbacks of Verde Anaconda or Red Eyes Fusion, because they can simply set their Guru, flip it with Hidden City, and they're not affected by the limitations of their Red Eyes Fusion. And that's the same thing with Eldritch. They're going to make their Dragoon, they're going to set up all their back row, same thing. And then finally, of course, is Pankertops. This card is pretty much the best going second card in the game, in my opinion. Just because, as long as your opponent didn't draw, absolute garbage, it's pretty much live against any deck in the game. There's no reason not to play it, in my opinion. It should go into your side deck pretty much any time, unless you're in a format where like every meta deck is protected from destruction effects. So those are all cards I feel like go from last format into this format, and you should make sure you consider playing a few of them. Next up, let's talk about some cards that we need to welcome back into our side deck. But before I get to that, I just want to thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoy this sort of content, make sure to give the video a like, and maybe even give the channel a subscription. And if there's any cards that you think I missed, or maybe some cards that you disagree with, how about comment down below, give me your thoughts, and let me know what you think. So, let's get on to our monster removal cards. This is going to include things like Nibiru, Dark Ruler No More, Super Polymerization, and Kaijus. So, we need to deal with combo and Dragoon decks. So, for Dragoon, 3 of these cards work. Our Kaijus, our Dark Ruler, and our Super Poly. So, Super Poly, of course, you can just get rid of it using Verde Anaconda and Dragoon. And also, if you're playing any archetypes like Invoked or Shaddolls, you can just use monsters on your field and fuse the Dragoon away with something that you control. Then, of course, is Dark Ruler No More. Your opponent can't respond to it, just like Super Poly. It's pretty simple. You know, you negate the Dragoon, or you negate your opponent's combo board, and then you can break it from there. And the same with Super Poly, I forgot to mention, is you can Super Polymerization away your opponent's Dragon Link board. Say, like, you can get rid of Savage and the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend that made a return to Dragon Link recently. And then if they play anything else, you can probably just beat over something or crash into it to get Starving Venom's effect to destroy your opponent's board. And then with Dragoons, of course, you can make a Dragostupelia, or you can make the Starving Venom. And then there's just a lot of options. Even Mud Dragon against Dragon Link's really good. So those are just some thoughts for Super Poly. And then, of course, we got Kaijus. The reason that I don't just outright say Gamma Seal is because it's important to take into account Tri-Brigade making their own board. I think that's a deck a lot of people are sleeping on, because not only does it make a pretty wide board, it finishes up that wide board by locking their opponent out of special summoning non-wind monsters. So we gotta play the Wind Kaiju Godarla. So that's something that's worth considering if you think you're gonna encounter a lot of Tri-Brigades. And also, of course, it helps get rid of some stuff off Dragon Link's board, and it helps get rid of Dragoon. So those are all some good cards. And then, of course, is Nibiru for those combo decks, like Tri-Brigade and like Dragon Link. So you gotta consider those cards. The reason that I think it's that we're welcoming them back in, and they weren't already in, is because against Virtual World and Drytron, I don't feel like Nibiru was that impactful. Typically, you know, you Nibiru your opponent's board, of course, but then they recover very easily. I've noticed a lot of times where Nibiru was just very inefficient against those decks, which is why I took that card out last format. You'll notice in a lot of my deck profiles from last format, Nibiru was nowhere to be seen. So it's time to bring that card back to help deal with our new Dragon Link and Tri-Brigade enemies. So those are all the things I feel are good for getting through those type of boards. And again, let me know what you think about that. And finally, this is like my final pick. This was something I thought over a little bit, and then I started like thinking more and more. I was like, whoa, this is actually a great card to bring back. Is Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. This card is incredible right now because, like I already talked about, Dragon Link, there's also, you know, Tri-Brigade. There's a lot of things in the meta right now making Link monsters. I think Fantastical Dragon would be really good. If you go second, you side that in. It helps you dig through your deck to find your other side deck cards to break your opponent's board. This is a fantastic option. Fantastical Dragon, Fantastic Dragon. So, those are some really great cards. And I hope it helps you side deck for this format. And if there's anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments below. And if there's anything you disagree with, also let me know in the comments below. But right above the comments is the description where you can find a link to all the Toasty TCG media. This includes my Facebook page, the Discord server, and the TCG Player affiliate link. So if any card that I talked about today has you interested, make sure to go pick it up using that link, because it's a card that you're already going to buy, but it helps support this channel directly. So I'd appreciate that very much. The same, again, with liking, subscribing, all great things. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. everyone, and this is going to be Toasty TCG signing out.